decided to get back into position. When I was producing the show on a weekly basis, that taught me a lot about showing up for myself, showing up for you, our sisterhood, our community. You have to be able to make it through because we don't want to see any one of our sisters fall down and not get back up. It's okay to fall, but you're gonna have to get back up. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Women Speak Show. We are Women in Media Global, and we're here to empower, equip, and encourage you to own your voices. We're the #1 sisterhood in the industry, and you can follow us on Instagram at womeglobal. We're also on YouTube at womeglobal.org, Facebook at womeglobal.org as well. It has been quite a minute since I've been in the studio, but you know what? I decided to get back into position, and I will say that when I was producing the show on a weekly basis, which was every single Wednesday, it is Wim Wednesday, and I would come into the studio 7 o'clock, record my show. That taught me a lot about showing up for myself, showing up for you, our sisterhood, our community, but then also it's something about commitment that takes you to another level. So when you have to do something at the same time, maybe on the same day in a repetitive task, that level of commitment, it stretches you. It allows you to learn new things about yourself. You learn how to stick with the process, how to perfect things throughout the process. So a lot of those mundane tasks that we do that we feel as if it's just competitive, we have to do it over and over, actually it is strengthening you. And I see the difference between when I was doing my show when I felt like it to when I was consistently doing my show. And so now we're back. This is the first time we're back consistently doing the show, and I thought it would be just a fun idea to do it for my birthday. I am a Scorpio queen, true and through, and so I'm getting ready to celebrate my birthday in just 3 days. And I said, you know what? We have a brand new intern here at Women in Media, and I've been hearing from you all. I've been hearing you send me pictures, send me text messages, send me memories of all of the awesome times that you've had with Women in Media over the years. And you know, I'm feeling the sense that you guys are missing what we bring to the table, the sisterhood that we built over the last, I don't know, Women in Media is like 7 years old now. 7, 8, 9, 10 maybe. We getting up there, but I'm happy to know and see that what we've built through our mission has touched so many people's lives and so many people's hearts, and that it lives on through the work that you're doing, how you have grown as a leader, as a sister, as a woman in media, and we are committed to get back out there. And so as y'all know, Women in Media is a big mission. It's a big opportunity, and it takes a lot of people to make this thing run. So we are extending opportunity, opening our doors to you and saying, hey, if you want to be a part of what we have going on, we're starting out with building out an awesome radio show here at Excitement Radio that is also a podcast that you can find us on Spotify, Apple, Google, everywhere you listen to your podcast, we are streaming there as well. Pandora, everywhere you stream podcasts, we're there, and we're also on YouTube as well. So we want to make sure that this show is perfected, that it continues to grow, but more importantly, that we are creating space to tell your stories. We want to tell the stories of women who are in the industry, women who work in media, women who work in entertainment, and women who have positive messages, information to impart to these women so that they can take their rightful places as leaders and owners and decision makers in the industry. So before I get into my show today, which is going to be a really good one, we are having a call and a casting call for a host for the Women Speak Show. So over the years, you have known me, Danielle Page-Jeter, who is the founder and visionary behind Women in Media Global. You've seen me also on the mic here hosting the show, but I want to take the opportunity to bring more voices onto our podcast. We want to have a team of hosts who talk about different topics, who bring different expertise, levels of professionalism, experiences, and journeys in life to the table. And I would love to sit in the producer seat while you hold down the microphone. So if you are hearing this and you say, hey, I want to join Women in Media and be a host on that show, show. This is for women who are first in South Florida, because our show, as you can see, is live in the studio. So that means that you have to be able to be available on Wednesdays from 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. to come into the studio and to record your show here during our time slot. So that is South Florida. Be in person and be able to come in, okay? So if you have a passion to break into the industry, maybe you're already in the industry, maybe you already have a show and you want to expand it, maybe you want to host a segment on our show, listen, there is room for you here to grow with us. So what you're going to want to do is send us a DM on Instagram at womeninmediaglobal. That's WIM Global. Send us a DM and say, hey, I'm interested in being a host on your show. And we will make sure that we walk you through the process, our casting call, our applications, our auditions, so that you can be a part of the show, so we can bring your voice to the airwaves. I mean, we're looking for all types of topics, whether you talk about relationships, career advice, how-to topics, expertise. Maybe you want to interview celebrities. Maybe you want to share positive community news, or maybe you want to cover politics. All of that is welcome here. You're able to bring that information to our show. So I'm excited. I'm excited to hear from you guys, you ladies, okay? Because we need women as hosts on this show. So make sure y'all hit us up on Instagram at WIM Global, and let's kick things off, okay? So I believe I got all of my announcements out of the way. And now today's show is going to be a story. I want to tell you all a story about perseverance. This is the first time that I'm actually sharing this story on the show, but we all have moments in our lives where we have to learn to persevere through a challenge, a situation, an unexpected turn of events where you didn't expect it to go that way, but now you're in the middle of it, and what are you going to do to persevere through those moments? Not even sure if the moments are going to last for a long time, if it's just a short period of time, but life is going to throw you curveballs, and you have to be able to make it through, because we don't want to see any one of our sisters fall down and not get back up. It's okay to fall, but you're going to have to get back up. I want to tell you all my story of perseverance and what it took for me to actually live here in downtown Miami, and now you see me on the radio here in Miami, and what that experience was for me. So it was a very unexpected move for me to come from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, all the way down south. I mean, like the most southern part of this country, here in Miami, Florida. And I enjoy it. I will say that I enjoy being here. I love being here. I'm straight from Philly. I love Philly, but I have enjoyed my transition being here, but it wasn't smooth. It wasn't like I went from one apartment to the next apartment and was able to just, I'm gonna just move real quick. All right, I'm done. Philly, thank you. Move out that apartment. Boom, boom, boom. Come down south, come to this apartment. No, it was nothing like that. It was nothing like that. And, from the outside looking in, we're not online sharing all of our woes, sharing all of our struggles, all of our problems. So you could very well may think like, oh, you know what I'm saying? She doing her thing, which I am. She making it happen, which I am. But I've also had to persevere through moments that were very uncertain for me. Before I was able to actually live in an apartment, I had to go from Airbnb to hotel room to hotel room to Airbnb, because at that point I wanted to be in Florida. Like, my spirit wanted to be here, but at the time I was not able to take care of rent and two homes, right? So I still had my apartment in Philadelphia, but I wasn't in Philadelphia. I was spending most of my time in Florida. And so it started out a couple years before this transition where I was servicing public relations clients. I had about 3 or 4 clients in the market, and honestly, I would have the opportunity to travel down here to Miami maybe once a month or so, fly in, do the work I had to do, go back home. And I was doing that for an extended period of time and never really thought about the idea of living here, because to be completely honest, I was super content with what I had and with what I was doing in Philadelphia. And it wasn't bad, but I was content. And I knew that like Philly was not going to be my end all be all. Like, I knew that at some point I would move, that I would go to another market, but I wasn't in that mindset at that time. I was just making it happen, enjoying what I was building my team, running Women in Media Global, running AOI Events and PR, our agency, and I was cool. As I was in Florida and the news of COVID hit, I decided to stay. I said, if I have to quarantine in Philadelphia or in Florida, I'm gonna stay in Florida, right? Because Florida never closed. The governor here is kind of crazy. And we was rocking and rolling. At that point in time, I did have a business partner who gave me a nice extended stay and a car, so shout outs to her. Shout outs to K. Marie Wines, Tanya, shout outs to them because they really blessed me through that process, and they took me in when they did not have to. So they allowed me to stay in their house, like my own 2-bedroom, 2-bath home in Fort Lauderdale with a Benz. Don't get any better than that during quarantine, ladies, okay, and the gentlemen who's tuned in. Shout outs to all the real men who tune in to Women in Media Global, because I see you guys and y'all always supporting us. So we appreciate you. Everything comes to an end. Everything good, everything bad, everything indifferent will have an end date. So what happened? That ended. They said, Jeter, we love you, but you gotta go. So I left, went back home to Philadelphia, and another client called me back to Miami. I wasn't even home 2 weeks, and they were like, you gotta come back. Went back, and so we were playing the back and forth thing for a while. Finished up a lot of the projects I was doing at the time, and I just, like I said, my spirit did not want to be back home. So while I did not have that much client work to do at that moment, y'all, I was thugging it out, y'all. I had these 2 suitcases. I was wheeling around these 2 suitcases from hotel room to hotel room, from Airbnb to Airbnb, staying in different parts of the city. I didn't even know because, again, I'm new here. I'm in a city where I don't have any immediate family. I maybe can count on one hand how many friends I actually have in the market who I can call and be like, yo, sis, yo, bro, like actually friends. Like, I don't know, maybe 3. So I'm in a new environment. I'm in a new place and I'm by myself. And I'm staying at all these random places. And there were nights where I only had like $100 after I had paid my rent in Philly, $100 in my name to buy something to eat and pay for another night at a room. But I was determined, okay? I need everybody to repeat after me. Determined. I was determined that I was gonna make it. I was not trying to go back to Philly during the pandemic. It was a no for me. It was a no for me. And I said, you know what? Something gonna happen. Something gonna give. I'm gonna shake somebody's hand. I'm gonna network with somebody. Some opportunities are gonna open up for me. It's going to happen for me. So what did I do, y'all? I continued to what? Persevere, right? I continued to persevere. But those nights were not, oh, I'm in Miami, let's go to live. No, those nights were lonely. Those nights where I felt depressed. There were nights where I was like, what am I doing? Like, does this make sense? Like, maybe I should just pack it up and go back home. But then every time I would go back home, I'd be like, I don't want to be here. Because when your mind is stretched and you're exposed to new levels, new opportunities, you can't go back to what you used to know, you know? And so I'm grateful to my city for exposing me to what they did, for opening up my mind and giving me opportunity and actually allowing me to like spread my wings. But flying too, it was like, I go back to West Philly and my street's still dirty. It's litter everywhere. The subways are dirty. There's homeless people. There's possums and rats and roaches. It was just like, I can't go back to this. Like, I want better for myself. And so that was the sacrifice. That was the sacrifice that I decided to make to like persevere through it. Let me continue to paint the picture because we were during the pandemic. This is during the pandemic where everybody's business was slow. All work was slow. All opportunities were slow. You know, my business slowed down. We were a events and public relations agency. And so we specialize in doing events and doing public relations for people's events. Women in Media was also a brand that was built off of doing in-person experiences. So all of my work pretty much slowed down and I was literally making it by hustling, y'all. I was hustling PPE. Is it PPE? The equipment and all of the tools and materials that they needed to make it through the pandemic, y'all. I had like access to the vendors. I had access to people who was selling it. And I was selling the PPE stuff, y'all. I was selling the pandemic gear, the mask, all. I was hustling that stuff. And we were also getting government, you know, SBA assistance and all of those pandemic relief programs. That was really how I was able to make it happen. You know, I would do like small stuff here or there, but it was so small, guys. And I was just like, it's gonna happen for me. It has to work or it has to work. It has to work or it has to work. And I kept going and I kept going. And then there was a point where I was just like, okay, these hotel rooms and this Airbnbs and me lugging around these bags is getting kind of whack and kind of lame. And I didn't have a car either. So I reached out to my network, Spelman College and Morehouse College Network. Shout outs to the Spellhouse alum and all my friends who go to those schools with me. I'm a Spelman alumni. And I said, yo, anybody y'all know in Miami renting out a room? And my homegirl got back to me immediately. Within the same hour was like, I got you, sis. I'm gonna plug you in with one of my best friends. We're gonna put you up in my building. I said, say less. And she's one of those friends where I said I have like a couple friends on one hand. She's one of those friends. You know, there were probably times I could have called my friends, be like, hey, can I crash on your couch? But I was just like, it wasn't pride. I don't know, maybe it was. You can, I don't know. Only God can judge that part about my heart. But it was just like, I didn't want to be that person where I was reaching out and asking people to like couch surf when it was like not super necessary. It wasn't like I was homeless, like, Jeter, you got a crib in Philly. You could just fly back home and live at your house, but it was something else. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna figure this out. I'm gonna keep making it work, you know? So she was able to connect me with one of her friends. We agreed on a rate, made it happen, and I was able to move in just a couple days later. And so that was really the beginning part of me starting to find my way to transition into the market. If you're like me, sometimes we think like, oh my gosh, it's just gonna happen for me. Like, I'm just gonna blow big. My mind always thinks that I'm just gonna skip the hard parts or skip the in between and just go from, I have an idea, this is gonna happen, I'm gonna launch it, and boom, it's gonna blow up. It don't happen that way. It has to happen the way that it does, because you need to learn how to persevere through trials, through tribulations, through things that is gonna make you stronger. So I'm in there, and you know, shout outs to them too. God bless my old roommate and her family, my friend Kylie, because they actually moved me into a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment in Edgewater, Miami, beautiful part of the city, great part. And it was a mom and her daughter and me, and the mom and daughter actually moved and shared the room and allowed me to stay in the daughter's room. And so they sacrificed, you know, alongside me to be able to help me make this move happen. We had agreed on a couple of months, I don't know, maybe like 6 or something of that sort, and it ended up going longer than that. They ended up allowing me to stay maybe like 2 months extra, until one day she was like, we love you, but it's time. And I had gotten slightly comfortable, not too comfortable, but I also was not super prepared. I knew that the moment would come where I had to like move on and move out, but I didn't know where I was going to go. I didn't know how I was going to make it happen. I just did not know. But luckily, I was stashing some money. I was investing in some stocks. So I had dividends coming in from stocks. I was stashing my money, wasn't doing too much. I'm not a huge shopper. I'm not a huge spender. I'm pretty petite. So I mean, I trick y'all with wearing the same clothes and y'all don't even know, but I be switching it up. And she was like, yeah, girl, it was great, but let's wrap this party up. And in those moments, I felt anxious. Like I was like, and I started to get worried. I was like, oh my God, where am I going to go? Like, what am I going to do? I had moved out of my apartment at that point. I went back home for a weekend. I must post this picture too. It's a really good one. I had went back home for a weekend in March. When I felt comfortable, I was just like, I think I can make Miami happen. I'm okay with letting my apartment go. So I gave them 30 days notice, was like, hey, I'm going to be moving out of my apartment. Went home, moved out of my apartment in 3 days, packed up everything, pretty much threw most of the stuff out, and moved on with my life. So 2 months later, after she told me that it was time to go, I was like, oh shoot, I only got my spot in Philly. I really don't have nowhere to go now. Like, this is a thing. What Miami has made me do was like stand on all of my toes, like on my tippy toes, and make me reach for like the next level. It makes me work for my next level when I was being too content in my current situation. I was a big fish in a big pond, or is Philly a big pond? Philly's a big city. So let's just say I was a big fish in a big pond to go to another big city and be a small fish in a big pond. I'm pretty much starting my brand over, building relationships, meeting people, getting out there, like starting over. Meanwhile, also starting my own personal life here as well. I had to call some other friends. It was like, all right, I gotta go in like 30 days and I don't have a place. I need another room to rent. So I was able to rent a room, and I wasn't even there the whole month, but I definitely paid for 1 or 2 months in advance, but I ended up not even staying the whole time because I found a place. Where I was staying at, I didn't like that part of the city. I was like, yeah, this ain't for me. Like, I need to be more in the mix. I'm a be in the mix kind of girl. I'm a center city, downtown kind of vibe. I'm a step outside my crib, we in the mix already kind of vibe, right off the highway. Like, I like convenience. I like to be able to walk to places. I need trains around. I need convenience stores. I need corner stores. I'm that girl. I'm not the girl where I gotta drive everywhere. I know how to drive. Yes. I have a driver's license. Yes. And God did bless me with a car this year. Yes. But I'm still not that girl. I still like to be out in the mix. Like, boom, boom, downstairs, and I'm here. I was like, yeah, this not gonna work for me. Let me find something else. And so I'm searching. And it's crazy. Let me back up and say that, like, rent in Miami definitely quadrupled during the pandemic. And when I decided to move, like, before, rent in Miami was not even comparable to rent in Center City, Philadelphia. Like, rent in Philadelphia was actually more expensive than the rent here in Miami. But Miami knew that it was one of the most desirable cities at the time because everybody was coming down to Miami because Florida didn't close. It was still a lot happening. Everybody outside, the mask, nobody was really respecting it. We was still an outside place. So New Yorkers, California, Georgia, wherever other city you came from, everybody was Philadelphia. Everybody was coming here. So rent went up, the demand went up. And I was like, great. The moment I need to find a spot, the rent gonna go up 4 times. So I'm looking, no luck. And I'm like, dang, I'm not really finding anything. But I got blessed because a realtor found my information online, probably from when I was filling out all those forms, and they called me and said, I have the perfect spot for you. They asked me a couple questions and they said, hey, I want to show you a place tomorrow. I said, say less, I'll be there. Went to the place and loved it. I'm not one of those shop around people. I'm one of those go to one store and buy everything people. So much so, in September, I went to Armani Exchange in the Lenox Mall in Atlanta. Y'all, why I bought everything out of Armani Exchange. Walked to the store, I was just gonna get a sweatsuit. Found out they had purses, found out they had sneakers. Oh, y'all got socks and underwear and bras and t-shirts. Literally bought everything. I didn't even walk into the Lenox Mall. I walked, Armani Exchange is like right in the beginning of the mall, like near the Violet. I go into the mall, found Armani Exchange, spent all my money on Armani Exchange. Or my boots, something out of Armani Exchange as well. It was like, okay, I'm done, and left, y'all. Okay, I got the purse, the sneakers, I got the socks, I got everything Armani Exchange. When I tell you I don't like to shop around, I don't like to shop around. And I like a one-stop shop. Can you give me everything I need right here? Bet. Line it up, run it up. Let me compare the cost. Let me compare the quality. Let me read the reviews. I don't even like to shop, and my future life, I'm gonna have a personal shopper. I'm not that girl. Go to the malls. I'm not that person. I don't even like to shop online. I just don't like to shop. I'm just not. I just be too cause you gotta listen. Personal shopper, go. That's why I like those meal services where you just say I want this meal, and they bring you the ingredients to your house and they drop it off. I'm that person. That's me. So y'all, when it came to apartment shop, he told me he had the perfect spot. I said, I love it. Give me the application. Fill it out right now. I did not need to see anything else. Filled out the app. Y'all, they improved me in like 48 hours and I was able to move in, right? So it was a lot, as you can see, that I had to persevere through, right? The shifting between homes. And I know people who grew up in homes where y'all was constantly moving. I know you understand what that feels like to battle through having to move from place to place, room to room, and the feelings that come with being almost like you feel displaced, right? And also those moments where I'm navigating a space where I have a vision and I know that I want to do something and I feel compelled and called here because doors are opening for me, but yet there's nobody here with me. On a journey where I felt like I never would have imagined that I would be navigating a situation like this by myself. And I'm not ever alone, right? Because I always have God and the Holy Spirit with me. And of course I have my mom, who's like my number one backbone cheerleader. My mom is in Pennsylvania and I'm here and she can't do anything but text me and call me with encouragement. And I still have to get up every day, wash my face, shower, put on clothes, put a smile on, and move things forward. It was tough. It was tough feeling like that, and also coming from a city where I knew everybody to a city where I don't know anybody, so I'm grateful to all of the people who helped me to transition here. DJ Ben Hop and Excitement Radio is one of those people. Regina, Wise Intelligent, Quadira, Stitches, Tanya from Cameroon Wines, Teresa, so many people. It's important that we give people their flowers while we can. So I definitely wanted to take the time to tell those people that what y'all did for me was not light. And even in moments where you couldn't tell that I was going through hard times and you couldn't tell, by you, reaching out to me, by you spending time with me, by you, Kylie as well, Deli, her daughter, it meant a lot, right? It meant a lot. Like, I'm not a person who liked to complain. I was taught not to wear my feelings on my sleeves, and I was always told to get back up. And so what I would do in all those moments was actually get back up. Shout outs to David Kennedy, who gave me opportunity to make money with him. Aldi and Otto was a friend there for me as well. Ambassador George Hamilton was there as a friend as well. And so I made a lot of friends along the way, and I'm grateful, for that. And that's a story that was hard for me to share because, y'all, I shed so many tears during that season. You would never know it. But there are some keys that I want to leave with you now that I learned through that experience that's going to help you deal with struggle in your own life and to deal with uncertainty in your own life. And there are just 4 keys that I want to leave with you that I want you to jot this down. I want you to take note of this, and I want you to take it and pass it on, because this is not going to be the last time that I experience turbulence in my life. But what I do know is that it had to happen in order for me to be where I am today. And there's no way we can get stronger without going through situations that's going to challenge us and make us grow. So that first key I want to say is write the vision and make it plain. So because I have a vision of what I want for my life, not even just my business, but my personal life, my spiritual life as well, my family life, that's the driving force behind where I'm going. So because I had this vision and it has to come to pass because I'm visualizing something, I'm putting action and energy behind it, and it's a vision that God gave me. We're not originating these thoughts. I knew that it had to happen. Make sure you actually write the vision, like take a pen, write it down, not even type it out. I want you to get your notebook, get your journal, and write that vision out. Make that an activity that you do. The second thing is have an outlet. Having an outlet and a way to express yourself is going to save your mental health and your wellness. Like I said, the people around me didn't really know what I was experiencing, but that's because I had an outlet to let it go. And I utilized that outlet to let it go because I don't want to bring heaviness and heavy feelings and just sadness on other people's lives. Like, that's going to impact them, right? So I just want to show up as my best self. I want to show up in a way that's going to impact you in a good way. Not saying that I'm not going to share my feelings, but if you have an outlet to express them, then you'll be able to continue to move forward, right? When you hold things bottled in, that's when you could potentially explode. And we don't want a catastrophe like that. So for me, my outlet was actually running. Like, I picked up running and jogging during the pandemic, and that activity of just moving my body, first of all, it's a full body workout, and I'm able to sweat, and I'm able to maybe listen to some music, get outside in nature and sun and just let it out. That was my outlet in that time. I had plenty of outlets growing up and even throughout the years, but that was my outlet in that season and still today, you know? So have an outlet. Number 3 is stay in community. It is so easy to isolate yourself in the moments where you feel down, sad, hurt, depressed, just unsure. But I want to encourage you to stay around people who love you, or even just find people with like-minded interests where you can take your mind off of it, talk about something else, laugh about something, learn a new hobby, get out there and exchange energy. Because when you're by yourself, that is when the battlefield of the mind goes on. So our biggest and most important aspect of who we are is our mind, which is why it's important that you renew your mind every day. That's biblical. Writing a vision and make it plain, that's biblical as well. But when you're able to be by yourself, your mind goes crazy. And the enemy knows that. He knows that he can play with your mind if you are in a space where nobody else is with you. So now you're alone with your thoughts. You already feel down. You already feel, woe is me, I'm in this situation, this is crazy. And now the enemy is reinforcing those thoughts instead of you being in community with people who's going to say encouraging words, who's going to keep you focused, who's going to just be there to help you cope and to speak to you about it and just to pour into you. So you have to stay in community. And number 4, it's in my notes. Let me think. I already said write the vision and make it plain. I already said have an outlet. Oh, you got to stay committed. Number 4 is stay committed. This is going to be hard, but you stay committed to the vision and you stay committed to the idea that you have. That commitment is going to allow you to get back up. It's going to allow you to wash your face. It's going to allow you to brush it off. And you have to consistently kind of go through those motions of like actually getting up and moving, actually going through it. So by staying committed and staying consistent, you'll be able to persevere through those life challenges. And by having a commitment, you'll be able to also do the same thing. So ladies, women in media, all of our amazing supporters and listeners who are tuned in, you have just been welcomed into one of the most vulnerable parts of my life, one of the most hardest things I've ever had to do. And I look back at those moments. I have so many pictures from those times because literally we all had time on our hands, but I'm so proud of the fact that I was able to make it through, to persevere through it, and to just come out on the other end stronger and more defined and better, where I'm able to encourage you. You know, one of the reasons that we go through things is because we have to share our stories and encourage other people. And I hope that this has touched you and that you will find something in my story that's going to help you and you'll be able to make it through your challenging moments. So this has been a story of perseverance, and you have been given 4 major keys to help you challenge through, battle through, fight through the challenges and the hard blows that life is going to get you. And that is our episode here tonight on the Whim Speaks Show. I am your host, DP Jeter, Danielle P. Jeter. And if you ever want to connect with me personally, make sure you follow me on my Instagram at DP Jeter. Make sure you hit me up and tell me happy birthday at the end of this week. I'm a Scorpio. We go crazy for our birthdays. Everything is about my birthday right now. If you're not about my birthday right now, I'm not about you. Period. Okay? Because y'all, make sure y'all celebrate your birthdays. This is your one time, your one holiday all year that's about you. And it's a blessing that every year we get to get older. Some people be like, I don't celebrate my birthday. I want to challenge that thought and encourage you to celebrate your birthday, because God didn't have to give you another year, and you didn't have to persevere through those challenges that you faced that year, right? You could have checked out. So check in, celebrate life, no matter how big or how small. Follow me on Instagram at DP Jeter. Follow Women in Media at Whim Global. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. channel, WIM Global Facebook, WIMGlobal.org. And that's it, y'all. We are Women in Media, and we have spoken. Till next time.